Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for joining the show today. One of the things I love about hosting a television show is I can be out and about in the community and meet someone I've never met before, or hear a side of a story of somebody I already know and get to have them on the show and talk a little bit more in depth about it. One thing I didn't expect recently is to run into someone who hosts a show here on this channel who I'd never met, but we were familiar with each other because of hosting these shows, and got to talking, and we decided to have each other on each other's shows for this interview. Does that make sense? So I'm here talking with Fletcher Ellingson. You must know him from his show Live It Up. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. It was your idea for us to do this, so
Yeah.
thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
One of the things when we first met, you said that you were making an effort to engage with people daily, and I thought, well, that's cool. Then I met your quota for the day. You met someone new,
That's right.
and here we are.
That's right.
So for people who aren't familiar, tell us a little bit about yourself. I watched your video and know a lot about your story, and have watched your show, and
Yeah.
you're all about trying to help people make that shift in themselves, because you went through some hard, big transitions yourself in business and in your family.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, way back the 15 years ago.
Way back to 15 years ago, yeah. So way back 15 years ago, we had a business, a manufacturing business. We manufactured all natural soaps, lotions, and candles, and lip balms, and really good stuff. And we loved doing it, and we were good at manufacturing, and it was a quality product. We were very proud of it, and we were shipping all over the country. And the thing is that passion and drive can only take you so far if you don't have the, first of all, business knowledge, and even more importantly, the correct mindset. And so what happened was that even though we loved it and were passionate about it, when things got tough, we just said, okay, we'll work harder. We'll find more hours in the day. And eventually that didn't work as a sustainable plan.
Was it just you and was it a family business, just you and your wife were doing it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And we had 3 kids, all very young at that time. And that business crashed and burned hard. We were like one of those stats who didn't make it even close to year 5. And so then we suddenly found ourselves in massive debt, tens of thousands of dollars. We were not employed. We qualified for food stamps. I mean, that's how desperate things were. I mean, we had nothing. We had a mortgage that we had to pay, and we had, a family of 5.
Kids to feed?
Yes. So
you picked up a couple extra kids along the way in those 5 years, almost leading up to those 5 years. So then now you have 5 children, and like you said, a mortgage to pay. So what do you think, what was your mindset at that time to get you from the depths of disparity in some ways to, how are we going to fix this?
So this is kind of funny. You just told me on my show about your origin story of when you were 8 years old. I think what pulled me through there that time was I had some roots that were in personal development, and they went deep. Because when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, we had an inspirational speaker come to our elementary school, and he handed out these stickers. And on the sticker, there were reflective stickers. You could put it on your backpack or your coat. They were meant to light up at night with cars would shine their lights on you. And so I put it on my bedpost, and on it said, "Start your day with PMA, positive mental attitude," and underneath it said, "I expect something wonderful to happen." And so I don't remember the content of what that speaker said that day, but it set me on a course for evolving my thinking. So in elementary school, I was reading Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking.
Yes.
So my dad, I remember specifically, I was sitting on the front stoop reading it. My dad came out. He said, "Hey, Fletch, what you reading?" And I said, "The Power of Positive Thinking." And he just stopped. He was like, "Norman Vincent Peale?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What's wrong with you?" It was like so weird that this young kid was reading that. But those seeds were planted, and they just continued to blossom. And that's not to say I didn't have terrible things happen to me or made bad decisions, but there was some sort of core belief that began to grow and blossom throughout my life. And I do believe that's what got me through that traumatic experience of losing pretty much everything.
It is a hard thing because, I think that words are powerful. So the words that you kept on your bed, nightstand, or the headboard?
On my headboard, yeah.
The words that you kept there, words are powerful. They can whether they're spoken or they're read every day. I was just driving down the road a couple of days ago behind a car, and it had a bumper or a sticker in the window that said, "I hope something wonderful happens in your day." And I thought, well, and I said out loud, well, thank you.
Yeah,
I hope
really.
something wonderful happens in your day too. And it just like totally shifted how I was thinking about traffic, or having to get somewhere, and just being able to pay attention and see that sticker and really receive it.
I love
as
that.
opposed to just get on with my day and get around them and they're going too slow or something.
Right.
But the words that you heard then, you don't remember the exact words, but they had an impact on you.
They
So when
impacted
this
me.
happens and you're now facing the failure of a business and you're trying to provide for your family, what comes next? You can have a great attitude, but if you don't
Yes.
have action.
Yeah, exactly. So it was having the great attitude. It was like, okay, well, I've got to do something. I can do something. I am a person who does the next thing. And that was a core belief for me. So I went out and I found a local technology company in Chelan. There was 3 people, and I took a look at their product and I loved it. And we said, we can sell this. We can sell this on a national basis. Now, I didn't have any sales training necessarily. Although as I look back I've always been working since I was in 6th grade, and I didn't realize it until much later in life. But I had been a door-to-door salesperson, like with my lawn route, with my paper route, all sorts of stuff. So we went to work and started selling this on a national basis, and we grew that company up to a multi-million-dollar a year company, and had sales all over the country with even billion-dollar companies. So, and then as I did that, I got deeper and deeper into personal development, and I began coaching businesses. And so now what I do, and I always say everything happens for a reason, and I have perfect timing, even if I can't see it at the time, right? But now what I do is I help people create freedom in their life around health, wealth, and relationships by doing something radical, and that's helping them shift their thinking, understanding how they think, and then literally saying, how would I like to perceive the world? If I perceived it other than I do now, would I get different results?
Well,
And
that's the key, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to go a little deeper into that and
All
find
right.
out exactly, having that mindset, what you were able to manifest for yourself and other people. We'll be back in just a moment. Hi, thanks for joining the show today. I've been talking so far with a member of the studio who has a show here on NCWLIFE. His name is Fletcher Ellingson. You probably recognize him from Live It Up. Thanks for being here.
You bet, my pleasure.
So we've spent the first part talking about kind of a big low in your life. I don't know if it's the biggest low, but losing your business and having 5 children to feed. And you talked about a mindset that you gained as a child after hearing a motivational speaker in grade school, and putting that into your thought process as a young person all the way through your life. So a question, does or did, when this happened, did your wife have the same mindset? Or that's got to be a hard thing for couples, because you can be, hey, this is going to be okay, this is going to be okay all you want. And did it take a while for you guys to get on board with it? Or is it just you naturally move in that progression to making things better?
Yeah, I would say that. We were excellent partners, and I think there was a gap in our level of mindset. Things didn't work out for us in the long haul. So now we have a blended family of 5. And I would say that's why it's so critical that I think when that partners do the work of mindset together, so they can raise together at different levels and create new standards for their what they want in their life and their thinking. But anyway, so.
And that's a reevaluation of just a big life picture. So then when you're part of this other company and you're having great success at it, what do you attribute that success to?
100% mindset. Mindset is everything. Our thoughts dictate our actions, our decisions, our emotions, and therefore our results. And then those results circle around and they reinforce our belief systems. Our beliefs then dictate our decision making, and it just goes around in a circle, right? So, which is why we have to learn how to be able to interrupt our belief systems and our patterns, because all we are is a composite of our beliefs and that which we focus on a continual basis. So if what we're focusing on continually doesn't serve our life, or it manifests a result that we don't want, then we've got to learn how to interrupt that. And that is the secret to like learning how to manage your thinking and manage your actions.
I say that our values determine our priorities, and our priorities help tell our story. Because it's just this connection of how we each handle things that come into our lives. So now when you have that security now, because now you can feed your family and pay your mortgage, and that isn't the ultimate goal, right? I mean, it's part of the goal. How do you connect then with people? How did you go from, okay, I've got my life together, I've got through that, I figured it out, I think I can help other people do the same? Yeah,
one of the most exciting things for me is transformation. When I see, just like you, when you hear people's stories, it's like fuel. The emotional reaction I get just feels good. And in my opinion, that's the number one thing that people want. No matter what they are doing in life, they are always wanting a sense of feeling good. And usually it's progress. Progress equals a sense of feeling good. That's why I'm so committed to like helping people make progress in whatever area of life it is, health, wealth, relationships, because when they feel progress, they feel good. It's frequently, my clients come to me and say, I feel stuck. I feel like I've plateaued. And the emotion is not a sense of feeling good, right? It's feeling like, oh, I should be further ahead. I don't know what, I feel lost, frustrated. And there's nothing wrong with those emotions. I always say, get the message of the emotion. That's your emotional guidance system, right? It's telling you, am I on course or am I off course, right? And if you're feeling good, gosh, pretty good indication that I'm on course.
When you think about the 15 years ago and the things that you've been through over time, what is it about the transformation that has stuck with you the most? I know it's the mindset, but what result have you seen that has been?
Oh man, financially, my results just went like hockey sticked. I mean, financially, right? Relationally, oh my gosh, unbelievable. The connections, the rich connections that I have in my life, just exponential. It's not to say that I didn't have friends before, right? But the more friends, more connections, more associates, and just the depth of those relationships is so much deeper. My physical health, I was never like in terrible health, but I took my health up to a level that I never thought possible. I mean, I always thought triathlons were for like the elite, right? And I actually believed that, I could never do that. Never. Now, I didn't have anything, I wasn't disabled in any way. There was nothing preventing me from going out and doing it, except for my mindset. I thought I could never do that. But my friends were all out doing that. And one of the things I say is that you want to raise your standards, get around people who are doing it, right?
Right, exactly.
Get that result. And so they began inviting me.
You are the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yes, exactly. And so I started getting into triathlons, just little ones at first. And when I say little, I mean, it was still a big deal for me. But then I started working my way up, and pretty soon I completed an Ironman. And I never had that as a goal, but it just evolved out of a new way of living life.
I watched your video that you have on your website. I really like your website. It gets to the heart of it pretty quickly. And you have that video at the beginning if anyone wants to take a look at it. Your website is FletcherEllingson.com. And you talk about the woman who was diabetic and going through all these health challenges and the different people you've helped make those physical transformations. You've not only completed triathlon yourself, but you've helped other people do it. What is it? Life coach is a thing these days.
Yes.
I mean, who would have even thought? It kind of reminds me, life coach, to me, I remember when I was in high school and I wanted to join a gym with my friends, and my dad thought a gym was the most idiotic idea. Go ride your bike, go outside and play. But now there are gyms everywhere, and it's how people get their work done sometimes. So would we have thought 15 years ago that there would be anything called a life coach? And yet, here it is, it's a real thing, it's needed, it's utilized.
Yeah.
And what sets you apart from, or do you have to be set apart? There's enough room for everybody?
There's enough room for everybody, yeah. But I would say it takes a lot of time and education and a lot of money. I've spent over $100,000 like in my personal trainings, right? But it's paid off in spades. I mean, it's just like been wonderful. But yeah, and what a coach does, and I mean, for instance, like your favorite sports team, they couldn't operate without a coach, right? It's somebody to
Multiple
look from,
coaches, different facets
yes,
of coaching.
exactly. And it's somebody to look from the outside or get that 30,000 foot view to see what's really going on and saying, hey, you know what? I'm seeing a pattern over here that just isn't serving your life well. What if we interrupt that pattern? Because sometimes we're too close to it, right? And so my clients, they have a result that they want over here. And over here is the intention. And in between, there's a big gap between the intention and the result.
Everything that gets in the way.
Yes. And so what I do is I simply help people get the intention to match up with the result much faster than they could possibly do it in their own time.
If they ever do it.
If ever.
And I think it's true, too, that some people might have this part of their life all together, all these things here, and then maybe this, and then there's a couple of things that are still lacking. And so then that gets in the way of the other things that they want to do. And everyone has a different goal set, too. So it's your job to figure out where is that gap,
Yes.
and what is it being filled with, and how do you get that out of the way. That can't be easy. It might be easy for you to see it, but the steps you take to implement that, I want to talk about that when we come back.
Sounds good.
Let's take a quick break. Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for joining me today. I've been talking with Fletcher Ellingson. He has a show here on NCWLIFE called Live It Up. He is a life coach and a television show host, and he has a wealth of information and life experience.
I do.
That makes you a life coach. That's what we were talking about is there are life coaches out there now, and there's a reason for that because people need them. Just like you said, someone needs a coach when they're a great baseball or football team. Give me an example, choose one of your clients anonymously perhaps.
Yeah.
Talk about maybe health. That seems to be one that's a real tough one for people.
Yes.
You take someone who's pre-diabetic or diabetic and take them to athlete. You know, how do you, there's a lot of barriers. You're talking about the things that get in the way in the middle.
Right. There's a big gap there, right? Yeah. So my wife and I, Amy, she's a family physician. She's also a co-host with me on the show. So we put on a seminar called Diabetes Smackdown, the Ultimate Solution. And it's a completely different type of seminar where it's all about what's getting in your way. We're barely even talking about nutrition. We're not talking about shakes or supplements or pills or exercise. We're talking about what has been preventing you from taking action, because everybody in attendance knows that they should be eating better or differently. They should be exercising. They should have they all know that. They can tell us, they can educate us on the diets and what they should be doing. It's that should. They know what they should be doing, but what they don't know is why they are not doing what they know they should be doing.
Yes.
And so this seminar gets at the heart of it. And as a result, during that seminar, we deconstruct their beliefs. Because many people believe, like, I can lose weight, but the second part of that belief is, but I'll gain it back in 6 months. That's actually what they believe will happen. So how do we get them to create a new belief system that serves their life, such as, I'm continually creating health and vitality? Whoa, that's different, right? And so we actually show them how to set up belief systems that they don't have, but they would like to have. And then we show them how they set up their previous belief systems. Then we do that. We take that same methodology, but now we're doing it intentionally, and we collect massive evidence to support that belief system, to prop it up. We celebrate everything. We look for every shred of evidence that supports that new belief system and support them in constantly reviewing it. And so, yeah, some of those people that were in attendance, they significantly reduced their weight, their blood pressure. They came off some of their medications completely. Others reduced them greatly. And yeah, these 3 women that I'm thinking of, I wish I should have brought a picture, is of them standing on the finishing blocks, first, second, and third place with their hands in the air. They did a triathlon, never expected to. It wasn't even a goal until much later. And one of the women was 70 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of belief systems for a long time to be able to break through that.
Exactly.
Well, that's the beauty of taping this show. So we'll have her picture up by the time this airs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be
we'll
great.
do that. We'll work it out.
That'd be great.
So then the financial part of things is different. So just a quick example of taking a look at someone like yourself who had hit rock bottom financially. I think that, well, there are all these things. If you don't have your health, you can't you can't get to work, you can't
Mm-hmm.
be a potential earner in that way. But finances seem to be the things that people fight most about, because the health part is a personal thing, and you have to get to that place on your own. But the financial part affects everyone in your family. Perhaps your in-laws have a say about things, or your colleagues
Yeah.
at work, that, you know, however that looks. Is that one of the greater challenges, or do you say they're all pretty equal? What are the hardest barriers you try to break through?
Health, I think, is even harder than finances. And those are both big ones for sure. But health seems to be really give people, they get stuck easily around that. But finances, oh my gosh, we have so many of my clients, because a lot of my clients are business owners. And so one of the things I help business owners do is I help them break free from financial struggle, management overwhelm, and persistent worry, so they can get back to what they really love doing and what they're good at. We just hosted NCW Business Breakthroughs a couple weeks ago here at Pybus Market, and we had 40 entrepreneurs come and learn how to take their business to that next level. What belief system do they need to get rid of and replace, so they can go to that next level? I have so many of my clients who have just, their finances are at a place where they never imagined possible. And it doesn't take that long, because really it's about shifting your psychology. And once you shift that psychology, you activate the power of coincidence. You change out the filter through which you're viewing life, and suddenly you see, like, it becomes even easier. And I don't mean this in a woo-woo way, but things start happening for you. Now, the thing is, they were always happening, but now you're paying attention to them, and you're able to participate in them at a new level. And we're actively rewiring their brain, laying down new neural pathways so that they can begin believing and therefore acting and therefore getting new results.
I think about one of the questions I was asked when I was a guest on a radio show years ago, after my husband had passed away, was, what's your greatest career goal? What do you aspire to? And I said, to be home by 3 o'clock every day when my son gets home. And so that created, you can't be home by 3 if you work until 5. So I had to be very creative about how I earned a living and creating these buckets of money that enabled me to work from home, or to be able to travel and make sure we went and visited our family in Texas on a regular basis, where we had lived near his dad, and doing all of these things. And so recently someone asked me, now what's your greatest goal? Because my son's off to college, and mine is a bigger audience. And
Cool.
that can mean anything. So that can mean a sponsor for the podcast, or another tour, and I've had those sponsorships, the support of Town Toyota. Maybe it's a show that's has a bigger audience than here in our community. So it's really about, for me, it would be, okay, what gets in the way of that? So even for someone who seemingly has it all figured out to some degree, if people tell me that from the outside looking in, it's so much fun what you do, and it's so great what you do, there's a lot of work to it. So hiring someone to help me, I told you about the book Rocket Fuel, Integrators and Visionaries. You can be the greatest visionary and have all this hope for yourself, and then they need someone like you to make it happen. So I appreciate that you do that. And here in our community, it's nice to sit down with someone who has that part of things figured out. So if you need help figuring it out, you know who to reach, right?
That's right. FletcherEllingson.com.
Yes. So I appreciate you being here and sharing all this great information.
Thank you.
You should come back again.
Okay, I will. I will.